more on this with former Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy. Great to see you and Happy New Year. Here we go. We have news already. One of the things I talked about in the last hour is that you have Governor Tim Walz. He's the governor. He's supposed to be in charge, right? But you also have the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, somebody you also know, who was on audio talking about this and saying that he would help get rid of the investigations. So do you think that aside from Walz, there might be other shoes to drop here in Minnesota?
Yes, this is not the end of this story. Walz is trying to leave because he could not win. If you listen to his statement, he wants to criticize the Republicans for holding accountability to hardworking taxpayer Monday. You're right, Keith Ellison. Now, I served with both of these men in Congress. I think the entire Democrat administration is going to have to resign because this will not be the end. Let's give credit to Nick Shirley, a young reporter out there doing it on his own where others were not covering it, simply asking tough questions, and now Democrats are trying to wipe it under the rug, and Keith Ellison is trying to protect them. The next shoe I think that will drop is these daycare centers that were fake. They used this money also to fund Democrats' campaigns. I think a number of Democrats is now it's going to raise the issue. Republicans have to be smart, and this is where I'd listen to Tom Emmer. Let's get the right candidate to run in Minnesota. Tom ran a number of years ago and came less than 1% of winning. Now, I think he's too critical, and we need to keep him in the House, but I think he knows how to win in Minnesota as well. And let's put the right team forward, bring accountability back to this state, and it's just another prime example of mismanaged states by Democrat liberal policies that get us into this mess.
And so do you think that this would extend to other states?
I think it will. If you watch, there's a number of things that Pam Bondi and Secretary of Agriculture are doing, simply asking for accountability when it comes to hardworking taxpayers' money, right? Let's look, do they have a Social Security number? What are the checks and balances so you're taking away the fraud? And the first time we ask those questions, the Trump administration, these blue states say no, they won't answer them. Why wouldn't they want to get rid of the fraud? Why wouldn't they want to hold people accountable? It's like they want to defend it. It's just like they do when they want to defend the criminals to run the streets instead of have safe streets. It's the wrong position for Democrats to have. And I think the one Democrat that would stand up and look at the fraud is one that will rise in their own party as well.
All right, I want to ask you about Venezuela. Can we just play for Kevin here? This is the new mayor of New York. He was on the phone after his call with Trump criticizing the capture of Maduro.
I called the president and spoke with him directly to register my opposition to this act and to make clear that it was an opposition based on being opposed to a pursuit of regime change. There are tens of thousands of Venezuelans who call the city home. Their safety is critically important to me, as is the safety of each and every New Yorker. My administration will continue to monitor the developments in this situation.
Okay, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez posted this. She said, it's not about drugs. If it was, Trump wouldn't have pardoned one of the largest narco-traffickers in the world last month. It's about oil and regime change, and they need a trial now to pretend that it isn't, especially to distract from Epstein and skyrocketing health care costs. The one thing I thought was that if you look at the Florida delegation, Republicans and Democrats are united in support and saying that President Trump did the right thing here. So do Mamdani and AOC have it wrong?
They have it completely wrong. And if they listened to one of the Venezuelans who left that country and came to America, they would tell them exactly that they were wrong. They celebrate what happened in Venezuela. And remember, we've never recognized this government. It was fraudulent. It's been indicted. All he did was carry out the law. And the one thing I want to give President Trump a great deal of respect here, but he put America back on the map and resetting the world. I will tell you, every world leader is looking at what our military was able to accomplish. And I want to give Joint Chiefs of Staff Kane credit. I want to give John Radcliffe a lot of credit in the CIA and Marco Rubio and the president. Look how well they work together. Just think in this year alone, what they've been able to do in Iran and what they've been able to do in Venezuela. The world is a much safer place. The future is much brighter. And they followed the law exactly as it should be carried out. And kudos to the American military. unbelievable what they were able to accomplish with no casualties. Excellent job.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a full year when you think about the president's first term, but we're only on day 5 of January, and it feels like it's going to be a big year. Kevin McCarthy, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.